military experts from numerous analytical centers are trying to understand how the Russian military command managed to mislead NATO intelligence and organize offensive actions in 3 directions of the front at once:
on Donetsk, Kupyansk, and South-Donetsk.
At the same time, experts note that NATO intelligence, including the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, was confident that the Russians would strike their main blow precisely in the Kupyansk direction, since the large concentration of Russian troops and their tactical successes in this direction indicated that a full-scale offensive of the Russian army would begin here. However, NATO intelligence was wrong again and allowed itself to be deceived. The assault on the city of AVDIIVKA and offensive actions near the village of Velikaya Novoselka in the Donetsk Oblast came as a complete surprise to the command of the armed forces of Ukraine and the NATO leadership. At the same time, military experts emphasized the role of General Valery Gerasimov in achieving such impressive results. According to them, the beginning of the offensive of the Russian army in 3 directions of the front is the result of strategically correct decisions of the General Staff of the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation. Let me remind you that it was thanks to General Valery Gerasimov that numerous tactical and offensive formations were formed. Moreover, in the shortest possible time, it was also possible to solve munition famine and significantly increase the arsenals of various weapons. As a result, these actions had a very positive effect on the combat potential of the Russian army in the zone of a special military operation, and the Russian military command decided to strike at the enemy in 3 directions of the front at once. At the same time, it is worth noting that it was the attack on AVDIIVKA that forced the Ukrainian military command to begin transferring not only reserves here, but also some assault units from the Zaporizhia direction, which eventually doubled the risks of the collapse of the entire Ukrainian front.
Moreover, the Russian army is also continuing to press the enemy in the Kupyansk direction.
According to war correspondents, Russian troops have come close to the outskirts of the city and are trying to break through the defense of the armed forces of Ukraine.
Moreover, the Russian army has also increased its attacks in the direction of the city of Mariinka.
According to the Ukrainian military department, Russian troops organize 150 attacks a day, forcing Ukrainian units to go into depth defense. Such high activity of the Russian army has not been observed since the winter of last year. Thus, it becomes clear that the offensive potential of the armed forces of Ukraine was completely exhausted as a result of the failed summer counteroffensive. At the moment, the Ukrainian army has only insignificant forces left for defense, which can resist only thanks to the supply of Western weapons and powerful fortifications that were constructed from 2014 to 2022.
Meanwhile, Polish military expert Andrzej Wilk said that the Russians used the same tactics in AVDIIVKA as in Bakhmut.
According to him, Russian troops are bypassing AVDIIVKA from the flanks, delivering powerful blows to Ukrainian positions in the city itself.
All these actions are designed to finally paralyze the logistics of the Ukrainian army. In Bakhmut, this tactic worked perfectly, even despite the well-fortified defensive positions of Ukrainian troops in the city.
At the same time, it is worth noting that AVDIIVKA itself has more powerful defensive structures since they have been created during 9 years.
The fact that AVDIIVKA is gradually turning into a second Bakhmut is beyond doubt among experts. Moreover, it also became known that the Russian military command sent offensive units of the PMC Wagner group to AVDIIVKA. These are the same musicians under the command of Anton Elizarov, who stormed Bakhmut and won a brilliant victory there. At the same time, experts are confident that the battles for AVDIIVKA will not last for a long time, since the United States and other Western countries are forced to reduce the supply of weapons to the Ukrainian army due to the fighting in the Middle East. As a result, according to analysts, Ukrainian troops will not be able to hold the defense for a long time as it was in Bakhmut, and will be forced to capitulate before the onslaught of the advancing Russian military machine.